Alright, I've literally had to record this a second time because I was interrupted the first time. 2 days before the Hoso attack, they are at Ryoku's agency doing patrols and whatnot. Jiro, where is it? Falls asleep on Deku's shoulder, like here in the picture. And it's pretty late at night, and Ryoku has some rooms in her agency for any heroes that are late coming in from patrols and are too tired to go home or something. So Katsuga, Jiro, Melissa, Deku, and Nejire is there too. So they're all there in different rooms, and all four of them have been talking. All five of them have been talking and whatnot. And I would like to go on record and say UA is a college. I forgot to mention this because, they are, all of them are 18, including Nejire. So they're in their final year of high school. So they're in the final year of high school, all of them. So, yeah. We all know where this is probably going to be going here soon if I decide to do it, but I may not because I'm lazy. And I don't want to get flipping strikes because of something stupid. So, I may not do it because I don't feel like getting in trouble with YouTube. So, Deku takes Jiro up to her room, puts her in her bed, and goes to his room. This is where Nejire comes in, but, that's later on in the night because Deku's already sleeping, and she wanted to talk to him about something. So, she goes in and sees that he's asleep, so she's like, I'll talk to him about it in the morning, but she doesn't go back to her room. She goes and lays down beside Deku. And whatnot. And come morning time, Katsuga, Melissa, and Jiro all go to Deku's room to wake him up because they know that he stays up a bit later than them. And they see Nejire on top of him asleep. And they grab Nejire off of him and they take her outside and they wake her up. Ask her what she was doing, and she's like, I have a crush on Izuku. And they're like, well, join the party here because we're his girlfriend, so you can join if you want. She's like, really? And they're like, yeah. And then she excitedly jumps and hugs them all, and then they all go back into Izuku's room to wake him up. Nejire, being a beast that she is, she's like, I got this one. And she's like, okay. And so she floats over and sits on top of him. Mind you, he's under covers. He is under the cover, and she's on top of the cover. No dirty-minded stuff today, people. So, she kisses Izuku on the lips. And he starts slowly waking up and notices her kissing him. And he freaks out and jumps. And since he's a Dragon Slayer, he's got enhanced strength and reflexes. So when he jumps pretty high, and it knocks her off of him. And he goes in the floor backing up to his desk. He's like, what are you doing? I have girlfriends. And Katsuga, Melissa, and Jiro are just looking at him like, he called us his girlfriends. And they're like, it's okay. She's part of the group of us. And he's like, oh, okay. And Nejire is like, wait, you're okay with that? I'm like, hey, I like them. If they let you in, that means you have something about you that they deem quality, purposeful, and that you're not gonna hurt me like my ex-girlfriend did. And they're like, and she's like, wait, how did your ex hurt you? She's like, she cheated on me. And they're like, and she's like, oh, okay. So Nejire floats out to go to her room and change into her hero outfit. And they're like, we're going to go do the same. Because she says, all right, we got to get ready because we got patrols to do until 10 tonight. So, and this is the day of the Hosu attack. And I'm going to say at 7 p.m., I'm sorry if you hear that. That's fireworks going off and whatnot. So, I'm going to say around 7 p.m. the Hosu attack starts. He finds Ryoku and says, look, my friend's going to do something stupid because the hero killer took his the hero killer paralyzed his brother. And he's like, can I go and help him? And she says yes. And like in the Tirojima arc of Fairy Tail, when Gajio gets the blade through the steel beam, that's what happens when Izuku finds Stain about to kill Ida. So he uses his pillar and takes the blade into his pillar, but it severely injures Deku's hand. And he retracts the pillar and then slams another pillar into Stain's side, knocking him out. He patches up Native and Ida, but before the pillar hit Stain, a blade hit Izuku right in the right shoulder blade. And mind you, he was facing Stain when he did this. So the blade is sticking out from the front side of Izuku's right shoulder in the chest. Upper chest sticking out towards Native. He pulls out the blade. And then he's like, alright, I'm going to go find my agency and my girlfriends and make sure they're okay. You guys stay here. He's unconscious and he's locked and he's handcuffed, so he ain't going anywhere. I've called the police to come and aid you. They should be here in about 5 minutes. So he heads off, engages some Nomus, takes them out, but as he's taking them out, one with a lot of speed and strength manages to hit him, knocking him through a car and into a building, and the building was right in front of Ryoku, Nejire, Jiro, Katsuga, Melissa, and they're like, oh my god, what was that? And they look, and Deku's just coming out of the crater, and Nomu are just continuously rushing him as he's taking them out one by one, and they're like, how is he going to survive that onslaught? So Ryoku goes into her dragon form and breathes fire, taking out what's coming at him from the middle, giving him time to get a breather, and they start busting through the flames. So now they're coming through the flames, and you know, every Nomu rushing him is all the Nomus from the Hosu incident that are left. So the ones that aren't making it through the fire, Ryoku's getting them downed, and the ones making it through, Izuku's taking out. And there's like only 5 making it through at a time. The rest are being burned, which is good because he's like severely injured now. So him being severely injured would have gotten him killed if it wasn't for Ryoku saving him. So all the Nomu are taken down now, and he walks towards them, and then he leans up against a car that was damaged. He's like, thank you, Ryoku, for saving me. If you didn't, I would have been dead already. And so he then falls unconscious. He wakes up in the hospital. And he's all stitched up, bandaged up, and he gets up and stands up. When Melissa, Katsuga, Jiro, Nejire, and Ryoku come in the room and see him standing up, and they're like, "You should not be standing up." And he's like, "I am perfectly fine. I am as fit as a fiddle to be moving around, and I am perfectly fine." The doctor comes in and he's like, "Yeah, he's perfectly fine to be moving around. I don't know how, but his body is a godly one at that. He can consistently move even when being seriously injured." And they're like, "Okay, but should he be moving around or doing any heavy activity?" And they're like, "No. Even though his body is a God's body, he cannot be doing anything heavy for a while, just in case something happens." So they look at him with a smirk on their face like, "You ain't getting out. You aren't doing anything too strainful for a while." And he's like, "Alright." So they all go back to the dorms. Ida's there, and he's like, "Thank you for saving me. I shouldn't have been so foolish for doing that." Izuku's like, "It's fine. Your brother was paralyzed because of the hero killer. I understand that you wanted revenge, but you can't always take revenge on the people who wrong you. I know that better than anyone." And I'm going to say this, he was bullied during middle school, but not by Katsuga. Well, she did kind of bully him, but not that much. She would sometimes make fun of him a bit for getting embarrassed when talking to her. She would poke fun at him sometimes as well, but nothing like in the canon anime. But nothing like in canon that Bakugo did. So Katsuga's pretty well nice to him, but she pokes fun at him sometimes as well. But she still has that mean attitude to everyone else that isn't with Deku. Because how she sees it, the ones that are with Deku are the ones that won't hurt him. And she will stare daggers at Uraraka. Because, Deku is Deku's kind of a cinnamon roll still. And they call him Cinnamon Roll sometimes when he doesn't understand something that they say. And they're like, "You're too innocent. You're a cinnamon roll." All of them. And he's like, "No, I'm not." But, he goes to Nezu and asks for... No, he doesn't go to Nezu yet. He does not go to Nezu yet. That's for a later thing. So, like I said, they're 18 and in their final year of UA. How long should I... They got 2 weeks off because of the Hosu incident, including Izuku. Mainly the 2 weeks was for Izuku to properly get healed up enough to go walking around a whole lot longer for school. So due to that, Nezu canceled school for 2 weeks in case anybody was also seriously injured. Jiro, Nejire, Katsuga, and Melissa all helped change the bandages on Izuku's wounds from time to time when they needed to be changed, because they didn't trust Izuku not to screw them up, so they did it because Izuku, even though he can bandage himself up pretty well, they don't trust him not to try and remove the stitches and cauterize the rest of the wound. So they do it when it needs to be changed. And they one of them stays in his room every other night to make sure that every night, one of them stays in his room every night to make sure that he doesn't remove them and do it as well. So yeah. So time skip 2 weeks, and it is now time for the training camp. Aizawa says, "We're going to a training camp where we will all be attending and working on your quirks. Izuku's like, do I have to go? And he's like, yes you do. And the big three will be accompanying us due to the Hosu incident and the USJ. So Mirio, Tamaki, and Nejire come in, and Nejire immediately goes over to Izuku and like hugs him and swings around on him. And Tamaki and Mirio are like, Nejire, what are you doing to the poor boy? She's like, he's my boyfriend. And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, it wasn't really my idea because I was sleeping at the time when Katsuga, Melissa, and Jiro decided it, so. And she's like, you make it sound so bad. And he's like, nope, it's not a bad thing. I just like to be let in or woken up before a big decision is made like that. And she's like, but you're so cute when you're sleeping, we didn't want to wake you up. And he's like, fine, I'm going to stop arguing. It's pointless anyway. And she's like, yes, it is. When we women make up our mind, you are not going to change our mind. He's like, yep, I know that all too well. I grew up with Katsuga. So, and when she made up her mind, it was not easy to persuade her not to do it. So, yeah. And Mirio and Tamaki are looking at him like, how do you have four girlfriends? He's like, I don't know, they all decided it when I was outside of the room at the time or sleeping. And they're like, yeah, that's about it. And they like, we all agreed, since we like him, we can share him. And he's like, plus, if they want to go date somebody else, if they ever fall out of love with me, I'm fine with that. I don't care. Last person in the game I heard you.